Shalom, shalom, family. Welcome once again to the Uzia channel and to the D.C.B channel and to Facebook. My name is Uzia. I'm one of the teachers of Congregation BINAH, CHOKMAH, BINAH. Thank you the Most High God for this holy day, the holy Shabbat day. Thank you the Most High God for all things and everything, food, clothing, and shelter. I'm thankful to this great King for my life and the life of all of you, and hoping and praying that the Most High God continue to be with us all and bless us. Everybody in the room, please let me know if you are getting good sound, good video. Please give me a 1 if you're getting good sound, good video. Want to make sure that everybody's getting good sound and good video. So please let me know if everyone is getting good sound and good video. Give me a 1. And all the chat rooms and all the rooms, please give me a 1. If you're getting good sound, good video, let me know that that everything is going well and that everything is going fine. Thanking the Creator. Let me know my levels, if my levels are good. If I'm sounding good, please. Got a 1? Okay, great. Got my assistant over there, my Ozier, that's going to assist me like for 2 minutes, and then he'll be gone. But at least I got everything operating and running and ready. Okay, so I got a 1 over here on the Uzia channel, and let me just check on Facebook to make sure. Just check on Facebook, see if I got any. I got 1s on Facebook. All right. So once again, giving glory to the Most High King of the universe, and I'm thankful to the Creator for my life and the life of all of you. And oh, I misspelled on my Uzia channel. I gotta make an adjustment. So with the blessings of the Creator, we are thankful for everything that He does for us as a people, and everything that He continues to do for us as a community, as God's people. We are blessed, whether we know it or not. You know, we receive blessings on a daily basis. We're blessed just for being here. There was many of our forefathers that didn't make it across that stormy Atlantic, and their generations is cut off and no longer here. So we got to count ourselves as being blessed because we're here. So count your blessings, be thankful to the Creator, and understand your blessing and walk in it. And not only that, try to enlighten someone else and try to make someone else aware of this knowledge and this understanding. This is important, that we pass it on to different generations, to people that might not know. We got to pass it on in order for them to understand and realize. Shabbat Shalom, Shelly Shell, feeling blessed, Israel. Yeah, we have to learn to pass on the things that we get, that we learn. We have to learn to pass it on, and that's a blessing. You know, and the other thing also that you have to learn is you have to learn to listen, not because someone doesn't do Torah like you or doesn't live in the same life that you live in, doesn't mean that they can't give you a message or some advice that might be helpful to you. Sometimes those are messages from the Most High, and when you reject them because you think you know more than a person, or you feel like this person cannot tell you anything because they don't live the way that you live, then you might have missed the message from the Creator. So I'm always appreciative of everything that people say to me that's positive, things that are going to reinforce me and make me a better person. And we should all be that way. It's important for us to be that way so that we could get better. And we could be stronger. Shalom, shalom to everyone in the rooms and all the rooms. Once again, I'm streaming live on my Uzia channel and I'm also simulcasting on. Well, first I'm streaming live on the D.C.B channel, and I'm simulcasting on the Uziah Lewy channel. So thank you to everyone, and I'm thankful to the Creator for my life and for all of you. You know, life is funny. It throws you curveballs, but the race is not to the swift or to the mighty, but to those who endure. And life is a marathon more so than a sprint. So we got to take our times with it. We have to be patient, and we have to understand what's in front of us. And what's right in front of us is the things that we're supposed to do before this great King. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that don't understand that. We the ones that are fortunate enough to understand. Sometimes we take it for granted because we do know and we understand, but we cannot take life for granted. We have to be on top of all things, and we have to take the good and the bad, as it comes. So I'm thankful to this great King. I have this new audio thing here. Sounds pretty loud, so I don't know if it's too loud over on your end, but it sounds pretty loud over here, but it sounds clear. So I'm tinkering with it. As you can see, we have a specially invited guest. I like, the last few weeks that she's been or the weeks that she calls in, this elder, I figure I'll do a show with her. I'll ask her some questions, being that she has history of the past and of things of that nature. I figure it'll be something enjoyable for you guys to see and for you guys to hear, as we talk about the past, the history, and talk about what inspired her to come and serve the Creator of heaven and earth, because that's important. And I feel like those stories kind of inspire other people. This is an elder that's 50 years strong in doing Torah. You don't see that in many organizations. You don't see that in many people. This elder right here has been integral in the education of a lot of Israelites. And when I mean education, I mean scholastically, teaching many of our children. Her, along with other groups of sisters, have brought up the level of Israel, and it shows the importance of sisters and how important they are to the movement, and how they cannot be taken for granted, and they have to be reckoned with. It's important for us to understand and know these things, and to carry that banner, and to not let the works that they put forth go to waste. Because these elders and these women have put forth work. Tonight we're going to have Gaveret Orah. All right? Tonight we're going to have Gaveret Orah. Gaveret, I just read your message. But tonight we're going to have Gaveret Orah. You probably sent that right before I started. Yep. So, yes, we're going to have Gaveret Orah on with us tonight. It's a beautiful thing. I'm just going to give her a little. She's probably ready. But first I wanted to give glory to the Creator and glorify Him. And give me 1 second here. Just trying to make sure everything is good. All the levels are good. I'm doing good over here. You see over here what is going on. All right, here we go. All right, got 54 people already in the chat. Shalom, shalom, everyone. We should, all right, someone asked. Daffy J. Shalom, Chief. First question of the night. Got a couple between the 400 years are popping up. It feels about everywhere. What does this mean for us as a people? Should I be preparing to leave the U.S.? We should always be ready and prepared to leave the U.S. As you can see, the way that the situation is. I mean, and not for anything in particular, but for the Most High God promised the land of Israel to our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Most High said that we will go through a captivity. We will go into basically another Egypt. And this is that Egypt. As my brother Chief Avdiel said, Egypt does not mean, the word Egypt literally does not mean bondage. But Egypt is synonymous to bondage for us as a people, right? So those are the things that we have to keep in mind. So we should always be prepared. That's the way that our teachers taught us, that we should always be prepared to be willing to get up and leave, because we never know when the Most High God is going to be ready to get his people out of here. So I'm thankful once again to the Creator. And so at this time, let me make the phone call. Let's get dramatic. And let's do this. Let me call up the elder who I'm going to be speaking with tonight. Here we go. Oh, it looked like, all right, here we go. Let me make this a regular phone call so I won't have any interruptions. And here we go. You can hear the phone ringing. You can hear it. Let's give her a call. Oh, she told me not to call on that number. Hold on. I got to call on the other number. Sorry about that, Gaveret. I'm calling you on the landline now. Sorry about that.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Gaveret Orah. How are you?
I'm good.
Blessed be the
Shabbat
most.
Shalom, everybody that's listening.
Yes, they're all listening. They can all hear you.
Who's calling me now? What is that?
I think I called you I called you.
You did call me on the wrong number,
Right.
and I picked it up and said wrong number.
Oh, all right.
So you got me on the right one now.
I got you on the right one. Okay, so for everyone out there, if you can hear Gaveret Orah clear, please give me a 1 and let me know before we continue with this. Gaveret, you're gonna have to mute your. I know it's gonna be tempting for you to hear what we're doing, but you're gonna have to mute your computer and catch the back and forth, I guess, after this is over. Because or else you're gonna have an echo throughout the whole. It's gonna be a
So
delay.
I took the what did I do? I muted it. Well, I usually do is I muted
Oh, mute.
it, so.
Okay, mute is good. Mute is good. Mm-hmm. That's good. All right. So everybody said they hear you clear. I think everyone is kind of ready for you. Everybody wants to hear you tonight. So we're gonna make it happen. Yes, because I've had a phone call, a text. One of the moderators sent me, Gaveret, says, Gaveret Orah gonna be on? So I told him, yes, you're gonna be on. So welcome, Gaveret, to Shabbat Night Talk, Gaveret Orah. Now, I've been calling you, and everyone's called you Gaveret Orah for years, right. But give people of the meaning of the word Gaveret. And
Gaveret is the feminine of Gibor, which means it's a term of respect.
Okay.
Okay. It's also it has also become sort of commonplace for saying Miss, Mrs.
Okay.
Okay. Like if you're among people that speak Hebrew as their native tongue, so to speak, and they say Gaveret, they usually they mean the same thing as Miss.
The same thing as Miss. Okay.
You know, like Miss or Mrs.
Right.
And like the Gaveret, you can say Gaveret, which means I can't think of the word in English.
I know.
It means veteran. It means a person that's been around for a while. It's a term of respect.
Right.
Like Gaveret. When I came into war,
right,
we addressed each other. The females were addressed as Gaveret. Males were addressed as the dome.
Okay.
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 I like Gaveret. I just happen to like the term.
Okay. That sounds
okay.
good.
I guess because years ago, Gaveret, Yisrael's children started calling me Guevara. What they were saying was Gaveret Orah.
Right.
But they were saying it so fast that it sounded like Guevara.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of and because I was called Gaveret Orah for so long before people started calling me Ima.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So
they called me Gaveret Orah, and I like it.
You like it?
Even when I was acknowledged at Shema a few weeks ago.
Right.
And I told him I prefer to be called Gaveret Orah.
Right. It just sounds right, Gaveret Orah. That's what I as long as I've been doing Torah, that's what I've known you as, Gaveret Orah. So it sounds.
That's really how I feel about it. I feel like I've taught many students in the Israelite community and outside the Israelite community.
Right.
In the Israelite community, they've always called me Gaveret Orah, and outside the Israelite community, they call me Ms. Yehudah.
Miss Yehudah, okay.
Right.
Right.
But I like Gaveret Orah. It's like synonymous with me.
Synonymous with you, right? That makes sense.
You
know? And your name Orah, for the people that might not know what that means, can you tell them
what that means? Light.
It means light.
It comes from the same root as torah.
Okay.
Menorah.
Okay.
Okay.
So just
it means light.
It means light. Okay. So.
And by the way, Cohen named me that.
Oh, okay. Any particular reason? Did he tell you why he?
That's how he saw me.
That's how he saw
so he
you.
Named
okay.
Me Orah.
Okay, that's great. And by the way, you are a great light to the community. You taught many people. You taught many children, and that's a blessing for a lot of the children that had an opportunity to be under your tutelage, and that's a blessing overall. So now let's begin with your journey and how you started.
You want to know how I started in law?
No, I want to know. Let's start with your beginning. Where were you?
Beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where were you born? Are you a New Yorker, a native New Yorker?
Anybody that knows what a New Yorker sounds like knows that I'm a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker.
Right.
In that sense, I'm a New Yorker.
You're a New Yorker.
I was born and raised in New York.
Right.
Educated in New York.
Right.
I am the quintessential New York female.
Right.
Israelite New York female. Okay.
Okay.
And I was raised. I actually was raised partly by my family, and partly I went to because I was smart, and the school where I was going wasn't too good. The school in my neighborhood wasn't so good. I went to live with my uncle, who was a minister.
Okay.
Okay. And I was raised with him, and I grew up in. I don't want to go through all the details. Just to cut to the chase.
Right.
One day I decided I wasn't going to church anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And because I used to go to church. I used to go to church 7 days a week.
Oh, wow.
And I studied the Bible, and I began to see discrepancies.
Okay.
And when I say discrepancies, not so much in the Bible itself, but discrepancies within the people and their behavior.
Right.
Okay. And some of the things didn't make sense.
Right.
The story didn't make sense. So I announced to my mom. I was a young woman then. Actually, I was a young mother then.
Right.
I announced to my mom that I was not going to go to church anymore. And I said a prayer to the Most High.
Right.
That I said, I know that there's I know that there's a supreme being, and I know there's a God. I know there's a supreme being, I said, but I don't think that Christianity is it. And I asked the Most High to show himself to me, reveal himself to me.
Right.
And he sent a woman that I had known most of my life. I'd seen her, coming around in her African garb, but this was in the 60s.
Right.
And I was impressed with the way she looked, and I started talking to her one day. She invited me to a Shabbat.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't go. I went to New Moon service, the New Moon of 1966. I don't count that year because that's not the year that I really came in.
Okay.
Because I doubted it. I went, and that was, if you hear Coleman ever tell a story about me taking off my wig and put it in the paper bag. It's so funny that the joke is that he thought I was so impressed, and I never told him because that's his story.
Right.
But the reason there was a different reason that I took it off,
Right.
But I was impressed, but that wasn't the reason I took it off.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, but I faltered. I said, nah, this is not right for me because this wouldn't happen, and this wouldn't happen, that wouldn't happen. Then I broke my ankle.
Okay.
And then I saw the woman the next year. I said, I'm going with you to the temple. And I have to apologize to anybody that's been around that knew me when I first came into the law. I was brought in law by a woman by the name of Yakala. And I forgot to mention her.
Right.
Last week when I was speaking. I never mentioned her name. Right. And she was the one that brought me to Shabbat.
Right.
And I didn't mention her name, so I asked for forgiveness of anybody that knew her. It was a legitimate mistake. It was no
slight
at all. Right. No. How could I?
Right.
She was the person. She was the Most High's instrument. Anyway, I came into law. I came in. It was June 10th, 1967. I went to services. I did not take my children.
Right.
Because I was not taking my children to some place that I wasn't sure.
Right.
Whether or not I was going to be there. And I went, and I was so impressed, and I started going, and that was it.
That was it.
At the time, we were worshiping in the house, and we went to Belmont. We went to Gates Avenue.
Right. What was the address of Gates Avenue? You remember?
1006.
1006 Gates Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's in the Bushwood. What's that? Best Stop?
Bushwood, yeah, it's still there.
Bushwood. Okay. So,
yep.
So you say you don't count 1966, although you came around in 66 for a New Year's service.
Well, I went to service in 66.
Right. Okay.
That was it.
That was it.
Yes.
Okay.
But then I didn't go. In June 10th, 1967, I went to services and never looked back.
Never looked back. So
back in those days, we went to services whether we were clean or unclean. So
okay,
I didn't miss a service for years.
For years. Okay.
Years. When I tell you years, I mean years. Maybe I don't know, 7 years, 8 years.
So when did that rule get implemented to where sisters would later told, all right, when you're unclean, you can't, because I understand at the beginning it was probably more of a thing where everybody's just coming to knowledge of themselves, but like point?
See, what happened was back when I first came into a Shalom,
right,
we weren't a large congregation. And what we did, there was a female bathroom and a male bathroom.
Right.
And what we did was we stayed away from the brothers.
Okay.
We had our own chairs. We did that for years. Even on Belmont, even when we went to Belmont Avenue, we would take our chairs with us. We didn't shake hands.
Okay.
So we didn't come into physical contact.
Okay.
The brothers sat where they sat. The women sat where they sat.
Okay.
And if you were unclean, you were particularly careful to separate yourself. Even the girls in the I decided that they wanted to put a ribbon on their chairs, you know.
Okay.
And we went through different things. But as the congregation became larger,
right,
some of the it became a little more difficult to practice that. So then we made a separation.
right.
You know.
Okay.
There are still congregations that do that. That they still come, but we're not one of them.
Okay.
Shabbat ceased to be one of them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you first came to the congregation, it was already named Hashaba, right?
Mhm.
All right. So when you first came around, who were the members of Hashaba Yisrael when you first got there?
Okay. The males were, and I forgot Meshulam. Meshulam was one of the charter members.
Okay. Charter members, right.
There was Cohen.
Right.
Papa Orah.
Okay.
BINAH.
Okay.
When I first came, Bosley was there, but he was there like maybe 1 week and then he disappeared.
Right.
Maybe a couple of weeks, and then he wasn't around anymore.
Okay.
There was Adon Hamul.
Right.
You know.
Not
you don't know Elishama, that was her father.
Are you talking about the Kamu that we presently know?
He's dead.
Oh, okay, he's dead.
I'm talking about Gaveret Penina's husband. He's
okay.
the father of. Everybody knows Elishama, right?
Elishama.
Yeah.
You got to refresh my memory. Remember, I'm not directly from Hashaba Yisrael, so you might have.
No, but Elishama used to be. She was around the community.
I don't remember.
I've seen her at
I might know her when I see her, but.
Yes, well.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, Gaveret Penina.
Okay.
Well, you know Gaveret Rivka, Cohen's Isha.
Kane.
That was her father.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was her father.
Her Abba. Okay.
Yeah.
So
okay, let me see. Who did I name?
You said Bosley. You said Bat Bakwa. You said
Naya.
Meshulam.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the sister who brought you around was there.
Yeah, Meshulam was her nephew.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me see. So
and Gaveret Naami, she was there.
Gaveret Naami. Right. You said that was your first Shabbat.
My first Shabbat was at her house. Yeah.
Was at her house, but y'all never went back after that. I think you said that last week.
No, there was a reason. It wasn't a bad reason. It was just a reason.
It says so Hashaba Yisrael is known for culture, right?
Yeah, well, when I first came, that was when I first came into the war. I remember it's so funny because when I went to the first Shabbat on the 10th, I wore a green dress that came just below my knees.
Right.
That was the last time I wore a shirt dress.
Okay. so by the time you came to Hashaba, they were already in full culture. Cohen was already. They were already.
No. That wasn't true.
Okay. It wasn't.
The women wore culture.
Okay. The women.
Cohen wore. Well, Cohen did wear culture.
Right.
The men didn't dress the same then as they do now. They wore, like, for example, the men wore begeds, but their begeds were...
like a poncho, like a pullover?
Yes, and they were wider.
Right.
And I must say, the men did not take off their begeds during the Torah.
Right.
Okay? That did not happen.
Right.
You put your beged on and stayed on.
Stayed on, okay.
Until the Torah was over.
Right. All right. So at that point the sisters.
But at that time Cohen wore toners, but he also wore for a very short period of time he wore shirt and tie. I have a picture of him with shirt and tie on.
Right. Okay. So he was just
coming around. But that was short. That lasted and also they wore at that time also Prince Yaakov was traveling around.
Right.
And they wore, and it's funny because they wore turbans, or Cohen wore turbans.
Mm-hmm.
When I met him, he was wearing turbans. I know that a lot of people say, well, this one started. We were in different parts of the country.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize that Rabbi Tate was involved in the establishment of BINAH in
Right.
Chicago.
Right.
But that's another story. I wasn't there.
Right. No, Prince Arishadai confirmed that Rabbi Tate and Nasi Yaakov and a few other men, they were the ones that started it, right? Because they came from Tabernacle of Israel or something like that. That's where they started it from. The idea started. So, no, that's true. That that Rabbi Tate.
But that information is available. I think you even have a tape about that on there.
Right. Right.
An interview about that. But anyway, getting back to what did you want to know about Shabbat?
So did Shabbat have any particular motto? Like, I know BINAH King's motto was to win friends and influence people to a better way of life. Did Shabbat Yisrael have a particular motto that you remember?
Not that I recall in that sense.
Right.
Shabbat Yisrael is loosely translated the restoration of Israel.
Right.
That was our motto.
Okay. The restoration of Israel. So
really
the motto was in the name.
Shabbat Yisrael, but they used Shabbat.
Okay.
Shabbat Yisrael motto was the restoration of Israel.
The restoration of Israel. So the motto was in the name, basically.
Yes.
All right. Who were the teachers at Shabbat when you first got there?
Cohen.
That was it. So I know because when Prince Paul used to talk about it, he used to say that Cohen used to teach in the mornings and in the afternoon. So
yes, he did.
So that was just one particular way of
Cohen did it. Cohen, he taught in the morning, afternoon. He started on time. It was nobody did but him.
Okay.
He would just start.
So Hashaba was known for Hebrew speaking. I mean, that's what I remember about the people from Hashaba, that they knew that Hebrew, right?
Well, you know what? Let me say this. What it was that Cohen pushed us using Hebrew. See, back in the day, let me just tell you something. Back in the days when I first came into law, all of the communities were interested in speaking Hebrew.
Right.
The quote unquote so-called black Jews, everybody was interested in speaking Hebrew. And we ran into each other on the train, and it used to happen. We would come and meet each other on the train, like on the platform traveling, because I lived in the Bronx.
Right.
Okay. Yehuda's family lived in the Bronx. Panina lived in the Bronx. Right. And when we would meet, and we would run into other people from different congregations, and we whatever Hebrew we knew, we used to speak. We used to sometimes say, "Oh, Shabbat Shalom, Ma Shalom Chem." After we got to that, we would say, "Hagamal al Hahar." Do you know what that means?
I got what?
Hagamal al Hahar.
No, you have.
It means the camel is on the mountain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Gamal.
Anything that we knew how to say.
Yeah, the camel, Gamal.
We would say it. It was a thing of we were being proud of being able to say something, and anything we knew how to say. So those are kinds of sentences that you would have in your little Hebrew books.
Right.
You know, we had little Hebrew books and stuff that we used. I have a whole bunch of them here.
Like the Reishi Da'at books like
that.
Yeah,
it's like Reishi Da'at and what's the other one that I have? I can't even think of the names of them. I'm not even talking about the Bloomberg texts.
Right.
You know, Ivri Kaya and Ivri Kaya Aleph and Ivri Kaya Beit.
Right.
I have them. Deek Duke Wakibor. Those were all books that were printed, that were written by Harry Bloomberg, who was the head of the Hebrew department at Hunter College, which I happen to have attended.
Right.
But anyway, getting back to the way we used it, and Coleman used to teach a class called Kitasika, class of conversation.
Okay.
And we did, we that's where it began. And we spoke, we practiced, we stopped saying milk, we said kalab.
Kalab, okay.
Kalab, not kalab, it's really kalab.
Kalab.
And we said Dalit and Ritzpah and anything that we could say, that's what we did. And several people, when Moreh came along, he was studying and learning, and he decided that in his household he would speak Hebrew, and he studied.
Right.
And he taught, and he eventually held classes.
So being that you were there from 1960, like who was the first Hebrew teacher that you could solidly remember that was there? Was it Cohen? Was it any of the other brothers?
Okay, Cohen did. Here's the thing. Miriam was the one. Miriam was the person behind all of that. Miriam. Right. Miriam ran
Who
the
was
Shabbat
Miriam?
school.
Who was Miriam?
Cohen's Isha. Okay. I'm sorry, people don't know.
Right.
Miriam Eshet HaKohen.
Right.
She was the one that studied. She taught Hebrew in. She had put the children in Shabbat school.
Right.
And see, we started the II.
Right.
We established a committee to we started the committee to establish the II in 1969.
Okay.
And the II opened up in 1970.
Right.
And Miriam taught Hebrew. And it was very interesting, I remember.
Right.
We didn't go to school on Friday.
Okay. So the II, can you let the people know what the II stands for?
Israelite Institute.
Israelite Institute. And what was the reason?
Israelite Institute. We established the Israelite Institute. There were 8 students the first year.
Right.
Most of the people who were in the Shabbat had children. All of our children went to yeshiva.
Oh, okay.
The different yeshivas.
Interesting.
That's why we established our own school so that our children wouldn't be going to the yeshiva and they would still get a good education.
Right.
And that was Miriam's thing. Miriam taught in Lubavitcher Yeshiva.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was Lubavitcher. Wait a minute, I might be wrong about where it was. I know my sons went to Lubavitcher up in the Bronx.
Right.
And Miriam taught, I believe it was Lubavitcher.
And how did that happen?
Her son Reuben went to Hebrew school. He actually went through Hebrew school and graduated valedictorian.
Right. What about Moradina? Did she go there also?
I'm not sure about Dina.
Right.
I'm not sure about her. I'm not sure about her going to Hebrew school. She may have. You would have to ask her.
Oh yeah, she's probably listening, and I'm asking about.
You would have to ask her. I'm not sure. I really don't remember. I know Yisrael and I lived in the same building, so I was a little more aware of what was going on. I know Nizria went to. Yeah, I think Miriam did go. Dina did go. I think so.
Okay.
I know several of the children that were in the same age, they went to yeshiva, but then when Miriam started school, we put our children in our school.
Okay. Okay, and
not too many people initially. Not too many people wanted to support the school. They didn't think that we would be able to do it, but we did it.
Right. So the founding members of the Israelite Institute were who again?
Was it Shabbat Yisrael?
Was her Shabbat Yisrael? Okay, but it was the sisters who came up with that idea. No, I can't say the sisters. Right.
That was Miriam came up with the idea.
Miriam, okay.
Okay. Miriam Eshet HaKohen.
Came
up with the idea, and she was a powerful woman.
And that's important to know because sometimes sisters get lost in the annals of history, and we don't remember them. And I've always heard about this Gaveret Miriam, but I've never met her.
No, because
obviously,
she was gone by the time you got here.
right. So,
Miriam was a powerful woman.
May the Most High God bless her.
It was because of Miriam that Miriam chose me to teach in the
Oh, okay.
I actually thought she would choose. She became ill. She died of cancer.
Okay.
And I thought she would choose Yehudah, who was brilliant.
Right.
But she chose who actually Miriam felt that I had different what do you call it? Disposition. Now what Yehudah did was she did a phonics program.
Right.
That we used.
Right.
Yehudah was Cohen's. She became Cohen's. I guess you would call a personal secretary. She did a lot of stuff that people are not even aware of.
Okay.
A lot of behind. When Miriam passed, Yehudah took up the slack of the things that were going on in the temple and the community.
Right.
As far as the Shabbat was concerned. Also, Miriam was responsible for anti-poverty programs in the Bushwick area. A lot of things went on. Right. Shabbat did a lot of stuff that it wasn't about we were standing on the corner saying, look what we did.
Right.
But there were things that we did do.
Okay.
Okay.
So
you need to ask me questions because I'll talk on and on and on and on.
No. I'm this is great. My next question was going to be how advanced were the children that came out of the Israelite Institute in contrast to children that went to public schools? Like, give an example of what a child that came out of the II, and how long did the II last?
Okay, I can tell you how long the II lasted. II lasted until 19. When did I have to give it up? 1980 something.
Okay. Oh, so you had a pretty good run. I mean.
I kept the II going because I believed in what I was doing.
Okay.
Right.
And
it was. I would, if I had to do it over again, I'd probably do it again. But
Right.
I worked a lot of years teaching without having without receiving a salary.
Right.
Because I believed in what I was doing,
right.
And I made a commitment. I wanted my son out of yeshiva.
Right.
And so I agreed to work as a teacher in the school. This is when Miriam was alive.
Right.
And in order for my son to become, my oldest son, Yadiel, to become a student at the II. And all the students at the II, it would be good to interview them.
Right.
Right. Because I can say that several, they were smart.
Right.
As far as I know, they were smart. A lot of people, they were smart. That's all I can say, because it was the way that Miriam taught, and I learned to teach the way she taught.
Right.
And we taught the children what they were able to learn. That's all I can say.
Well, Gaveret, just going off a little bit off the script, because there's a couple of questions online that I think you'll be able to answer. One question is, what aspect of this way of life took you longest to adjust to? That's from Sister Kawa.
What aspect of this way of life?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong question. Ask me.
What aspects? Plural.
Okay, there was no aspect that took me long. I did not. Let me just tell you something. For me, I'm one of those gung-ho people. Okay? If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Right.
And if I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. So I can't. You have to be specific to it. You have to be a little more specific. When I first came into law, there was nothing that I found objectionable if it was in keeping with Torah.
Okay.
I might not. I might have a question about it and why and so on and so forth, but in general, across the board,
right.
If that's what the law said, that's what the law said. See, the thing is, what people don't understand is a Shabbat. Maybe if I could go back a bit.
Right.
When I came into a Shabbat, the service in the Shabbat was such that we had a short. Okay. Cohen wrote a prayer book.
Right.
And the prayer book, most people are familiar with it. The prayer book had prayers in them, but we did not spend as much time praying.
Right.
You know, as we do now.
Right.
Okay. So, Cohen taught, like, for example, service started about 11.
Right.
And we had the morning service where we said the morning prayers.
Right.
And after that, we went into the Torah.
Right.
And we did not read the whole Torah.
Right.
That was the first thing. The first thing is that we did not go through the whole Torah.
Right.
We actually read, I'm talking about for the Torah service.
The last
21 verses. We actually read the last 20 verses, I believe it was.
21 or 20?
Well, 20, 21, whatever.
Yeah, something like that, right.
Yeah, it depended on the siddur itself.
Right.
And we went through the entire portion as part of the teaching.
The teaching, right.
Okay?
Sort of like what we do.
And then we had a question and answer period. So if you had a question, I don't care if you wanted to ask about should you wear long shoestrings.
Right.
Yeah, we had a question and answer period. This was every day, every Shabbat. We had a question and answer period.
Okay.
So that the time was not, we were if you had something on your mind as a new person, if you had a question, you could ask about it. If you wanted to know why we do this and so on and so forth. When I first came into the law, I didn't find anything objectionable. As a matter of fact, when I first came into the law, like I was saying before, the first time I went to service, I remember wearing this lime green dress that came just below my knees because that was the style in those days.
Right.
And that was the last time I wore a dress that length. I actually went and bought some material, and I wore the same outfit every day.
Right.
Until I was able to make I started making my own clothes, and each Shabbat I'd make a new outfit, and thereby increasing my wardrobe.
Right.
Because I started wearing the other side to that coin is, and people need to realize this and recognize this was the 60s.
Right.
African clothes was a style.
Right.
Okay, a lot of people talk about, you don't wear culture and you don't do this and so and so. And when they say don't wear culture, to me that's silly.
Right.
The culture encompasses so much more than what you wear. But they mean you don't wear African style clothing.
Right.
In the 60s, everybody and his mama wore African style clothing.
Right, dashikis, crowns.
Until it became an issue if you were around and paid attention to it. It became such an issue that the powers that be began to undermine the wearing of those garments by creating those black exploitation movies where the biggest illicit person in the movie would be wearing the most gorgeous African garment.
Right.
Okay. But we continued wearing. That's the way I did it personally.
Right.
I was impressed with it before. I was working in the post office before I came into it, and I would see sisters with afros and sisters with long garments, and I was impressed with it.
Right.
So I took off my 4 or 5 lashes, and oh yes, Gaveret was Gaveret before she became Gaveret. I want you to know.
You got sisters today that won't take their fake eyelashes off.
Well, you know what? I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
I think that it's more important as long as you're dressing modestly. You know, I don't
Right.
think that. I think that those of us who came along in the 60s and 70s, we had it easy.
Right.
Because everybody was wearing it.
Right.
You know, we like to pat ourselves on the back. Oh, I wore culture all the time. Everybody was wearing it. It was easy.
Mm.
It was easy.
Right.
I didn't have a problem. You go to the store and buy what you needed.
Right.
You know, as soon as you get something in order, the people who flood out markets with this and that and the other, you know, it's like the brothers would start wearing do-rags. All of a sudden, every little Chinese, Oriental, Korean, whatever store came had do-rags.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, the brothers used to put on a stocking cap. Now you got to go to the store and buy something.
Right.
A do-rag?
Right. Yeah, it comes from the idea of the stocking. So,
Yes.
Gaveret, Orah, there's another question. What will it take to create another Israelite Institute today and sustain it?
Okay. That's a good question. And it would take so much that I don't know that we're able to do that because there were several reasons.
Right.
Number one, at the time that we established the II, the restrictions were not nearly as strong as they are now.
Yeah, as they are now.
Not nearly. Right. You know.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, there are some legitimate reasons for that. You know, there were a lot of schools that opened up and got funding, and we never did get funding now.
Right.
Got funding and didn't do anything but abscond with the money, you know.
Right.
So, but it would take a great deal. And we would have to see the living it's more difficult. Living is more difficult now. It's more expensive.
Right.
You have to have people, you know, like I sacrificed a lot because of what I believed. And I have to say, the Most High never let me down.
Mm.
But I don't have anything to show for the work that I put in terms of monetary,
value.
You know, that I don't have that.
Right.
I should have, but I don't. But we would have to be able to support our pay our teachers.
Right.
There were a lot of people there were several people whose names I won't mention. There are several people who are in education on various levels who would be more than willing to work in a school. But they have to be able to pay their mortgage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Feed their children.
Right. Absolutely.
And all of those that pay their rent. You know, all of those things. So it would take a great deal. A great deal.
So
I couldn't even tell you specifically. We tried a couple of times. We got committees together, and we need. There's so much that you need. You need so much now in terms of your building, just your building alone.
Right. I think because we did it. We did it at CHOKMAH when like the early 2000s.
Yeah, I remember.
Late 90s, we had and we did great. We had Moradina over there. We had a group of young sisters that were starting late 2009, 2010, and what happened is that I think, and I was supervising that. I guess you could say like the principal, but I wasn't teaching anything. I was just managing the money and doing things like that. But it was, what I find is like, we have to have trust in one another, and we have to understand that when we lowly funded that you're not cutting corners with the children's education, because the children actually did good. My daughter ended up going to Wellesley College, and I know that's a direct result of her not going to public school first, second grade. You understand? And she went.
Oh, you hear happened with several people that within the II. They did well.
Right. Yeah,
they
and
did
that was
well, you know,
and that was the question that I was asking prior. Like, what was an example of a child going to the II? Like, what's the most magnificent story?
Well, I think you know, some of the, I don't know how many people know who went to the II, but I'd like for
because for example, your grandson, I know he was like in college at what, 15, 14? What was it?
Well, my grandson didn't go to the II.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They went to Techie.
Okay. But you were teaching at that
school that I taught in
right
afterwards.
Okay.
After the II closed.
But
I had to let it go.
Right.
I couldn't afford it any longer.
But didn't Guevara
yes, Guevara went to the II. And Guevara, yes, what I'm saying, yes. Guevara went to the II and went to college.
like at 14 or 15 or something like that, right?
I don't even remember their ages. That was I don't remember their ages. I really don't.
Right.
You know, now that I'm past 27, you know, I don't remember all that stuff.
No, but
I can tell you that Shalom, because my sons both went to the II.
Okay.
Okay. And when my son, my old Yada went from the II to he took the test for Brooklyn Tech.
Right.
And he made it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he just Shalom and Israel, Gavert's oldest daughter. She made the dean's list in Baruch.
From the II.
In Baruch College.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Where she left, she went into 10th grade. I taught her up through 9th grade.
Right.
And then she went in 10th grade South Shore High School.
Right.
And then she went to Baruch College, and she made the dean's list that first year.
Okay.
You know. Gaveret, who else went to the II that you would know? You can know Gaveret, Bathsheba's daughter, Kasida. Okay. She went to the II also.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's great to know. Just to let people know how important these types of community-based.
Having your own school is important.
It's
we have to be willing to support a school.
Right.
And be willing and recognize that you get what you pay for.
That's right. That's right. You're right about that. So just shifting gears a little. Kolot Yisrael. What is the meaning and who founded it and what year?
Okay. Meaning, Voices of Israel.
Voices of Israel, okay.
Right. Who founded it?
And what year?
Nasi Barak founded it. I have to think. Probably in 1970. I'm trying to think if we were on Gates Avenue. I think we were on Gates Avenue. Were we on Gates Avenue when Polo started? No, we had just moved to Belmont.
Okay.
We were on Belmont Avenue, so it's probably 1971.
1971, okay.
And we were on 72 around that time.
Right.
And Nasi Barak started, he actually started he came up with the idea. He used to play banjo.
Banjo, he still does.
For us. Mm-hmm. Blink, 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 blink,
right.
blink, blink, blink. Because we did He Named My Tov with my Naim.
Oh, okay.
We did what's that? We did this song in
Cain Yah Yah. You did that also, right?
Cain Yah Yah, yeah. Cain Yah Yah.
Right.
Cain Yah Yah. Yes, we did that. We did a lot of songs. We did something we called the genealogy song. And
okay.
Maura used to love for me to sing the part about Joseph.
Okay.
When we did the part about Joseph. Because last year I sang it. I'm glad I got a chance to sing it for him.
Right. Right.
Well, you still wait. Let me see. Were we on Gates Avenue? No. We were on Gates Avenue. No, when we first started singing, we were still on Gates Avenue because we used to walk down to the park and come back with a new song.
Okay. Okay.
And you know, like, Ain't Elohei Kamori Home?
Right.
Ain't Elohei?
Right.
We actually wrote that, you know, and Dina mentioned it last week. Coleman used to say that at the end of a prayer.
Right.
At the end of the service. That was part of, no, blow you the trumpet, right?
Right.
Blow you the trumpet, and make a sound in Israel, something he used to say.
That's T.
And we decided to make a song out of it.
Right.
And so we did.
Okay.
And he added it to it, and we did a song that later Hosea added something to it. It was about David with
right.
David.
Yeah.
David.
Right.
Little David. He didn't build the temple, but his son Solomon did.
Uh-huh.
You know, we wrote songs for the children. Wrote a lullaby called oh gosh, so many songs. Don't get me started. I have a CD.
Right.
That somebody made, and it has a couple of songs that we sang on it. We sang so many. We actually did a show at the Billie Holiday Theater at Restoration.
Right.
Where we sang several of our songs.
Right. Don't give your brother no dope. That song too, right? Didn't you do that?
Yep.
Don't give your brother JC. That's what you used to say in the song? Don't give your brother JC.
Yes. Don't make the Christian out your mother.
Yeah,
your father's child.
Your father's
or your mother's child, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I actually have that.
Where did you get that from? Who told you?
Who gave me that? Cause I have that. I got that. I have that music. I'm trying to think really hard. Who gave me all that stuff? It had to been Shake. It had to been Shake Me Out, or it had to been Shake Me Out. Bang, Cohen Levy.
Cohen, yeah.
Yeah, it had to been him who.
He would be the one that had that stuff.
Right.
Have that stuff.
I believe he gave it to me. And I just preserve everything. I just have it, and I kind of try to keep track of all the history. Because if not, you know,
there's a song that CHOKMAH wrote that I don't even sing because I hate the way that they what's the word? I'm trying to use a nice word. I can't think of a nice word, so I won't say anything. But there's a song that she wrote. It's called the 12 Tribes of Israel.
Right.
And it's supposed to be written with a Middle Eastern flavor, a Middle Eastern beat.
Right.
It's supposed to be sung with a Middle Eastern beat.
Right.
And one of Elazar's sons, after we said Judah, he hollered yeehaw. And everybody started singing like that. And I know CHOKMAH was dead. She would have turned over in her grave if she heard it.
Are you talking about No Dabe Yehudah?
No. I'm talking, No Dabe Yehudah was written by Cohen.
By Cohen, okay.
I'm talking about 12 sons of Israel, 12 sons of Israel.
Oh, okay.
Went into the land.
Yeehaw.
Oh, please. Like we cowboys or something. Oh, gosh. Every time. I remember I sang it one time in some kind of an affair we had. Right. And I was singing, and somebody did that, and I stopped singing. I almost stopped singing. I'm very much offended by stuff like that.
So
because I remember what we felt and what we thought.
Right.
When we were doing these songs. These were songs that we did these for the children. At the time, CHOKMAH was teaching in the school, and she wanted the children to have. She first did it to the song, the 12 Days of Christmas or something.
Right, right.
And Cohen said no.
Not that melody, yeah, not that
Cohen
melody.
Said no, you know? So she came up with the melody, and it has a nice and you name it. Also, it would help the children learn the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right.
You know.
That was nice.
And it was. Reuben. I have to start in the middle to remember how it goes.
Right.
But it goes, Reuben was the first one, 12 sons of Israel. And there's a call and response. Went into the land, Levi is war, Shimon is war, Reuben is the first one.
Right.
Then you keep going, and it's Judah is the king. Heavy is Lord. Shimon is Lord. Reuben is the firstborn.
Right.
And he goes right on to then shall judge the Reuben. Yeah, it's and it's supposed to have a like a Middle Eastern flavor to it, you know.
Right, right.
That was one of the songs we wrote. And
what about Torah Yehudah? I love that song because it
Cohen
has
did that.
Cohen did that.
That's Cohen.
That's Cohen.
Cohen. We used to sing it with him.
Right.
I remember we went to Rockland Lake State Park.
Right.
I have pictures of that actually, like photographs.
Right.
And we're sitting around, the boys. Back in those days, the boys danced.
Right.
So I have pictures of my son, Yadiel, sitting on the floor where they had danced.
Right.
And the girls and the boys danced, and we would sing, and the people would come around with hundreds of people standing around while we were watching. We sing praises to the Most High in the park, you know. And Torah Yehudah was one of them.
Right.
But that was her calling all the way.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. The so you're this. You have this great voice. Where did you develop it? Did you take like classes for it?
No. My father was a tenor.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people in my family can sing.
Okay.
Really, a lot of people in my family sing. My granddaughter Matunel can sing circles around me, but she doesn't. She's shy. She doesn't want to sing.
Wow.
I have a niece, my sister's daughter.
Right.
Who sang Madam Butterfly for her thesis.
Right. Wow.
Okay. So, and I used to sing like everybody, like so many black people. I sang in the church choir.
Right.
And I didn't know I could sing until one day I was at my aunt's house, and her friend had a recorder, and she recorded my voice, and I was listening to it. I didn't know it was me. Okay.
So
that's when I found out I could sing.
Who's this singer
I don't walk
right
around
here?
saying, you know, I can sing.
Right.
That wasn't. But I like singing.
And I have to say, you still at your age, you still have a great voice. How did you maintain it? Do you do something?
The Most High. It's only the Most High.
Hallelujah.
I have to tell you that because when I was in my late 20s, the doctor told me there was something wrong with my vocal cords, and if I didn't stop singing, I would lose my voice by the time I was 30.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And I came into law, and I said, because I came into law around that time, you know, came into law when I'm in my 20s.
Right.
And I said, you know, I'm going to sing praise to the Most High, and if you take my voice, he takes my voice.
Takes my voice.
Okay.
Right.
I like to sing other things, but if I will sing praises to the Most High, if he takes my voice, he takes my voice. Now, I go through things. I do have something with my vocal cords, and
right.
sometimes I can't sing. A couple of the first time that we went to where we're going tomorrow, I was able to sing, and I was in tears because I could sing.
Wow. So while we're here, would you mind blessing us with a song of praise while we're on the phone?
Like what?
Any song, whatever, a song of your choice, whichever one you want to sing.
My favorite song.
I know you do. I don't know Lam a lot, but
that's
I'm not.
That's my favorite song. That's why I do it.
You want to do it? If you want to do it, we could do it.
You know, I like to talk about it a moment. You know, people don't think about what it means.
Okay.
But the last verse says, into thy hands I commit my.
Into thy hand I commit my spirit.
Commit my spirit, you know.
My spirit.
Right. And thou art with God is with me. I shall not fear.
And I shall not fear. Right.
With lo yirah, you know. Adonai li with lo yirah. My God is with me.
Right.
I have no fear. There is no fear. Lo yirah. I will not fear. That's what it says. Lo yirah. I will not fear. And that's how I feel.
Hallelujah.
I don't know. Pick something else. I don't want to sing it no more.
I don't know. What other song you feel like singing? I mean, you know how to sing. I mean, I've heard you sing. I never heard you sing What's My Name. I never heard you sing What's My Name.
Because that's not a song that I sing. I like the song, but
oh yeah, so Ha'azi Nali.
The range, the range is a little weird for me.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
The range, especially with, like I said, I do have a problem with my vocal cords, so I have to, I don't want to sing and be cracking and losing my voice and stuff. But I just like singing praises to the Most High.
So let's do Ha'azi Nali.
Well, I'm online doing that. Anybody can hear that. They want to hear it, they can just click on YouTube and hear me sing Ha'azi Nali.
Okay, so pick
I love
one.
the song, Ha'azi Nali. I can't think. I can't think of something. Tell me something. I don't know.
Let me see.
I know what I'll sing.
Okay.
CHOKMAH wrote this is a lullaby.
Okay.
Okay. Yeladim beYisrael mezamrim atovim. Wait a minute, am I singing? Yeah, no, wait a minute, excuse me.
Okay, take your time.
Anashim beYisrael mezamrim atovim, mezamrim atovim, shel Yahuwah, Yahuwah hu tov, Yahuwah hu tov. Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh hu tov, na'ashim beYisrael, rukwadot atovot, rukwadot atovot, Yehovah, Yahweh hu tov, Yahweh hu tov. Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh hu tov, Yeladim beYisrael, omerim atovim, omerim atovim, Yehovah, Yahweh hu tov, Yahweh hu tov. Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
That only thing I sang it backwards. It's been so long. It's been over 20 years since I sang that.
It says it's speaking to the children. Yeladim.
It starts off with
right.
Anashim Omerim.
Right.
And then Nashim Rokwadot. And Yeladim Mitzarim.
Right.
It's the men speak, the women dance, the children sing.
Oh, wow. That's a beautiful song right there. And I mean, a lot of those songs are not sang anymore. I mean, I never heard that
nobody
song.
knows them.
Nobody knows them. So we're gonna have to bring those songs back, Gaveret, Orah. You're gonna have to write them down or sing them. I'm gonna have to record them from you, and then we're gonna have to re-implement these songs.
One of the reasons why I don't sing them,
right.
Those songs were done in 3-part harmony.
Okay.
And the only one that's around, CHOKMAH passed away. And she was the one that organized. She was such a gifted woman, She was really blessed.
Right.
And she and the three of us, Bessima,
right.
CHOKMAH and I, we had perfect pitch.
Right.
Together,
Right.
So when she did the harmony, she did all the nuances of the music, and we just followed instructions.
Right.
By that time, Nasir had going about his business. Nasir Barak.
Right.
Well, he's the one that started. As a matter of fact, the first thing I learned to sing the 136 Psalm. He had me sing that.
Oh, someone says, sing Kol Hanshama.
Kol Hanshama. I love that. Kol Hanshama. Kol Hanshama. Tehaleya. Oh, yeah. Kol Hanshama. Kol Hanshama. Kol Hanshama. Tehaleya. Let everything that have breath, let everything that have breath, let everything that have breath, praise the Lord. Hallelujah, Yehovah, then Hashemayim. Hallelujah, Malakah goes around. Yeah, I love that song.
Hallelujah. That request was from Moreh Rania Bain, Cohen Levy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You remember me singing that?
That's who requested that song.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So
it's very important for us to have this type of, you know, the reason why I'm gathering all this information is, but obviously when we're no longer here, we have a history.
It was something for the yes.
Right. We have a history.
I'm so sorry that we didn't do that.
Right.
You know, in Shabbat, we didn't do that. There was so much that Shabbat did and gave.
Right.
And we did not record it. We did not save it for our posterity. You know.
Right. Right.
That's the only thing I regret. That I actually do. I know that Gaveret, who was Nasi Barak's Isha.
Right.
She took a lot of pictures and stuff. And I have pictures. I'm going to give them to somebody.
Well, you could give them to me. I collect all that stuff. I have them. Chief of Chiefs actually gave me a photo album. He told me here, you know, he just passed it to me. He said,
I have pictures of different, I'm in them and stuff because
Right.
But I have pictures of events. I have pictures, when I was telling you earlier, I have pictures of us in Rockland Lake State Park. I have pictures of events at Beit Shalom.
Right.
I have all these. I have lots and lots of pictures. I think I'll give them to you so you can save them. I have pictures from Commandment Keepers.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of pictures.
I have a question for you. Did you ever get to meet the late Rabbi
Matthews? Oh yes, indeed I did.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, indeed I did.
What type of man was he?
He was Rabbi Matthews. Rabbi Matthews. First of all, Rabbi Matthews was a very dynamic man. He wasn't very tall.
Right.
He is very dynamic and very sure of himself. And I remember myself because I met him when I first came into school, and I was so full of myself in those days. I thought myself so important.
Right.
Really. When I look back at it, I laugh because, you know.
Right. You were young. You were young. You were young.
I was.
Yeah. You were young.
And I came into law in Shabbat, Yisrael. I didn't come into law in some of the more traditional congregations.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And we had an opportunity. One of the things that happened in Shabbat, at least with me, because we were such a small congregation, we were able to question everything.
Okay.
One of the things that I admired that Coleman said was, you don't have to take my word for it. You can read it for yourself.
You can read it for yourself. That's right.
Okay? And so, as a result, for a person like myself, I would read it. I would read the Torah, and I was, there was a time when my sons could because they went to yeshiva, they could recite the Torah.
Right.
Bereshit, Bara, Elohim, Hashemayim, Haaretz, blah, 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 and so on.
Right.
And they knew, that was part of their training.
Right.
They knew they did that. They did it every day.
Right.
So they were able to do that. And all of the things that were important, they could read. And they learn reading it. You know, do you know, I don't know if you know, I don't know if Ronnie and Guevara told you, but I used to be their Torah teacher, you know.
Yeah, they said it. They said that you taught them.
Listen, this guy knew how to read Torah.
Right. Absolutely.
I did it because that wasn't my plan. What happened was there was a point in time when I think Colin Miko used to do it and he left or something, and I was the one, so we did it.
Okay.
And they learned it. They know the stuff. They have to learn it.
Well, Arania is the Morel Arania is the Hebrew teacher at
I know. I hear him.
D.C.B.
I hear him.
Yeah, he's the Hebrew teacher.
He's his mama's son.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
Right. And as far have you ever met Abba Bivens? Did you ever meet him?
No, I did not get to meet him.
Okay.
I heard of him. I saw him once, I think, but I never really got to meet him.
Never got to meet him.
No, Rabbi Matthews was. I remember I was there because Rabbi Matthews, you know.
Right.
He blasted. Something happened and he just fussed at us and stuff. He fussed. Cohen sent us there, and I went back and told Cohen what he said. And Cohen laughed.
Right.
And he told me, listen, you know.
Right.
Cohen, you know, a lot of people think that Cohen, I don't know. I was not taught to, what's the word? Not have respect for the so-called black Jews from Cohen. That Cohen didn't teach me that.
Right.
Cohen had his way of doing things.
Right.
And he was, you know, his whole idea of not being called a rabbi and being called a Cohen. And it's funny because when I first came to the Lord, they didn't call Cohen. They called him by his first name.
Okay.
And I couldn't do that.
Right.
So I called him Cohen. I called him Abba for a while until I was put in my place. Then I called him Cohen.
Right.
Then after a while, everybody started calling Cohen.
Oh, so that's how that came about.
That's how that came about. I refused to call him by his first. I couldn't call my spiritual leader by his first name.
Okay.
We had not come out together as friends. You understand what I'm saying? When they all left together, they were all a group of friends.
Right. Who
moved on.
Right.
Because they couldn't stay where they were. I was not a part of that movement.
Okay.
When I came along, then the Hashaba Yisrael had been established. There was a leader.
And he was
you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And he was the leader, and I came from a tradition of ministers.
Right. Deacons, pastors.
But really, like I said, I lived with my uncle who was a minister.
Right.
Okay? Yeah, I wouldn't have considered. I would call him by his first name.
Right.
I never did.
Okay.
So I called him Cohen Levy.
Cohen did
I just called him Cohen. It was probably Cohen. I call him Cohen. When people say, and I say Cohen, and people say, which Cohen? And I laugh.
Right.
You know, I have to remind myself there's several Cohens now, so you got to be specific.
Right.
But when I say Cohen, I mean Cohen Levy.
Well, he did say that. He did say that in his. Whenever I heard him speak, he said I didn't start calling myself Cohen. He said
he did not.
He said the people started calling. So now, this is why history is important. And when people speak and when people say things, I listen and I record and I do all those things because then you get to piece together things. You know, the man didn't put that on himself. Is what people started calling him.
It's like, you know what? I'll tell you something else.
Right.
When I came into law, women did not wear zizis.
Okay.
And I started wearing zizis. I said, well, the law said we're supposed to wear zizis, so I started wearing them.
Right.
And I used to wear these big old ugly zizis. I have to laugh. I made them out of yarn.
Right.
Out of
that wool,
yarn that wool
yarn, that thick wool yarn.
Yeah.
Right.
I made it out of yarn. I mean, you know, I knew how to make them, so I made them. Then I started buying them.
Right.
Then we got fancy, you know.
Right.
But I remember. And it sort of caught on. Everybody started wearing them.
So how was can you describe a typical Shabbat day or a holy day what it was like at Shabbat
Now,
Yisrael?
Holy Day or Shabbat Day, because there is a difference.
All right, so let's start with the Shabbat day. What was a typical Shabbat day like?
Okay, typical Shabbat Day. We'd all come in, and let's see.
And I'm talking Hashabah. I'm talking Hashabah when it was full.
I know Hashabah when it's full. I know.
Full throttle, drummers, everything.
Okay, let me tell you something else about the Hashabah and the drummers.
Right.
In Hashabah, we did not have drummers like they have drummers now. They had drummers.
Right.
But drummers did not drum all through the service during the break. We didn't do that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
We began the afternoon service almost with a devotional. We were sitting there singing songs of praise and stuff.
Right.
The drummers weren't drumming then.
Right.
Okay. That came along later. Let me put it later. Actually, that came home. That had started happening, I think, after Hataf left. After he left, then that's when that happened. When he was there, they didn't drum like that.
Right.
All over. No, they didn't drum through the prayers. None of that. Right.
No, I know that's pretty new. I think that started, the drumming through the prayers started more with the younger generation. That because I remember that there was no drumming through prayers. Everybody was up and praying, and the drumming started after the prayers. After they, when they started singing the Shema, then that's when everybody would drum.
Anyway, a day.
Right.
We come in and sometimes you be late. Sometimes I can't say anything. Sometimes I was late. But I used to come, but I lived in the Bronx, and I was coming to Brooklyn, and I did not take the train.
Right.
I came by bus or cab.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And I would come in, me and my two sons, and we would come into service, and we sit down, and I had from the time that I came into a Shabbat, I had my own special chair.
Right.
So I would sit in my chair.
Right.
And it was always directly in front of the priest.
Right.
I do not like being disturbed during service.
Right.
I like to focus on what's going on.
Right.
And we would have service. The men would be sitting where they were, depending on where we were. We were on Belmont Avenue. When we were on Belmont Avenue, the men sat on one side and the women on the other side. When we were on Gates Avenue, the women sat in the back and the men sat in the front.
Right.
And the people didn't intermingle during service.
Right.
You focus on Torah. They gave the children that had space. If you had to take care of the babies, there was a little space in the back.
Right.
And so on and so forth. But the service was, we said the prayers, we sang, praise the Most High, went through the Torah. If we had questions, we wrote them down. We would break. We would have lunch. We'd come back. We'd have question and answer period.
Right.
If it was in the summer times, we would have certain kinds of activities like games we would play, like I can't think of it, blockbusters or something, whatever it was.
Right.
That was, of course, centered around Torah.
Around Torah,
around that thing. During service, it was, the service, the order of the service is pretty much similar to the way that you guys have service at D.C.B.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Except that we did the Torah, and after the Torah we did the 8th proverb, and then the children went to Hebrew class, and you went to Hebrew class until you graduated.
Okay.
You just didn't decide that you weren't going.
Right.
And usually, depending on what time of year, Miriam being a teacher, she taught Hebrew class. The kids learned. They learned about history. The littler ones, the younger ones did. They might do some kind of activity to help them understand.
Right.
They might draw a picture of Noah.
Right.
Draw a picture of the ark or whatever, stuff like that.
Right.
They'd do a portion of, they would probably discuss the the Sidra.
Right.
And they graduated. I forgot how old they had to be. They had to actually graduate. No,
Like 14.
No, yeah, they were older than. We didn't do bar mitzvah, so
Right.
you didn't leave at 13.
Right.
You know.
Okay, that's good.
And they did Hebrew. They learned Hebrew as well.
Right.
In the class, you know.
It's basically what Moreh Aranya does now with the Yeladim. He teaches them. I guess he's continuing what he remembers and what he did as he was growing up, because he takes the children and he kind of teaches them a bit of everything, Hebrew, and everything else that I guess they need, that he remembers when he was growing up. So I guess that tradition in turn is still continuing to this.
We used to have another class in the afternoon when in the Jose used to teach a class. Oh, right. I love this class.
Now, Hoshea, Moreh Hoshea, may the Most High bless his memory. He was the one that I really grasped the Hebrew from. Like, he was the one that made it fun for me, because Hebrew for me, when certain people taught it, I was like, I'm never going to get this. But I started getting it with Hoshea because he made it fun.
But he knew how he was. People don't know, they may not know this, right? But he was a dynamic teacher.
Absolutely.
I loved. He was. Let me see. He was the first person that was able to show me in the Hebrew about the story in the garden.
Right.
He actually broke it down from the Hebrew with the way the Cohen taught the story.
Right.
That's the way it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hebrew says it. He broke that down. He also taught the history. He taught a history class in the afternoon. Oh my goodness. It was like you were there.
Right. Because he was so animated.
He knew, he really knew so much of it. Right, he just was good at it.
Yeah, he was so animated, and he put himself into everything that he did. He was like animated, and he acted out and stuff like that.
Yeah, when we talked about what's the name of the guy who stabbed the man, the king?
Eglon.
That's the one.
Eglon, he was sitting in the. They thought he was sitting in the toilet or something, relieving himself. They couldn't get into the door. You talking about Ehud and Eglon?
Yes, yeah. Ehud.
And Eglon.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. He the first time he told that story, I'll tell you, it was like you were there. He was saying, he was so fat he couldn't see the knife. Just sitting there.
And all the servants thought that he was relieving, or he was sleeping, and the guy done slipped out the window. So how was a holy day? What was the contrast between a Shabbat day and a holy day?
Well, on Hashabah.
A feast, holy day, right?
We feasted.
Right.
Believe me, we feasted.
Right.
We used to have, especially when it was a large. I know you can tell me. You'll have to excuse me because I was eating my dinner.
Okay.
Okay. We would sit around. First of all, we would all help prepare the food.
Right.
Like I remember sitting around in circles with sisters in a circle, and we'd be peeling potatoes or cleaning the chicken, or things varied from time to time. That when Miriam was alive, Miriam was in charge of the cooking of the feast.
Right.
Now she didn't do all the cooking, but she was in charge of the cooking of the feast. This was before Yehudah came along.
Right.
And took over the kitchen, so to speak.
Right.
But we would just have a good time, especially times like Passover.
Right.
And we would be sitting around, and it was a lot of us. And, we're talking, there was a lot of us.
Right.
So we would be sitting around and maybe peeling potatoes You know, we have a big 50-pound bag of potatoes or whatever, and we're peeling potatoes, and we're just talking together and enjoying each other's company. You know, and that would be at night.
Right.
Or you would be in the kitchen, or in the kitchen area, on the other side rather, and Carl would be doing the service, and you could hear the service going on, and we sitting there, and the group of us, and just sharing information, enjoying each other's company.
Mm.
Yeah, it was a lot of people, so. And in the Shabbat, you had to come early, or you would not have a comfortable seat. You end up sitting on the other side.
Right. Okay, so that's great. So, you know, I'm gonna end it right there, Gaveret, because I know you giving us already like an hour and a half, and I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm not past my 8 o'clock sleep
Yeah, I know.
time. Stretch out my dinner. I'm just finishing the last bit of my dinner.
And
it's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind talking.
Okay.
So,
Because eventually I'm gonna have to come and put this on camera. I mean, this is great, but I wanna make it a more extensive thing. I just wanted the people to know and understand, and I wanted you to share with the people your history, what you know, and because sometimes, how do they call it? Revisionist history. Sometimes people go back and they kind of twist history the way they want it to fit and they want it to sound.
You had a question I wanted to answer for you though.
Okay.
You asked me how we got to Belmont Avenue.
Yeah, how did you get to Belmont Avenue? What year?
Okay.
And I could finish out with the questions that I have here. And
okay. How we got to Belmont Avenue is that there was a group of brothers. Nasi Tavel, I'm not sure all the members. It was Haruach Arba, the Four Winds.
The Four Winds.
It was Nasi Tavel. I believe it was I think Benjamin Nathaniel.
Right.
Then Benjamin.
Right.
Seren Benjamin. I'm trying to think. I don't know if Maury was a part of it or not.
Right.
I know he was around, but I don't know if he was part of the Four Winds.
Right.
They had a club.
Okay.
And they had that space.
Right.
And we needed space on Gates Avenue. We needed space for Yom Kippur.
Right.
I mean Passover.
Okay.
And we went over there for Passover, just to use it for Passover. And that's how we got started.
And you stayed.
I think we went over to Passover, then we went over there again for Yom Kippur, and I think from Yom Kippur on, that's how we stayed there.
Right.
Nasi gave up the place. It was renovated and different changes were made, but yep, that's how we got there.
Okay. That's good to know. So,
I have a feeling that Maury might have been one of those men, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
You know who could tell you? Prince Support would be able to tell you.
Okay. Okay, because I think no, Prince Paul got to her Shabbat when you guys were at Belmont already. So he might know. Right. He might know.
Yeah, right. He might not have known that part. Yeah.
He might not know.
He was, but because he did. We were at Belmont when he came.
Right.
Let me think. Is that true? Was he at Gates?
Yeah, I think that's the story he tells.
No, he wasn't at Gates.
No, he was at Belmont.
Yeah.
He came to Belmont Avenue.
Adon Elazar was at Gates.
Right.
Maury was at Gates. Itamar was at Gates.
Okay.
He didn't stay, but he left. You probably don't even know him.
No.
He and Elazar were partners. Itamar and Elazar.
Oh, okay.
You know, Elazar was my brother.
Right.
Maury Elazar, that was my brother.
Okay.
I loved him.
Okay.
He's a good brother and an example of a lot of things.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay. So we have. Let me see. Who were some of the prominent teachers that came out of Shabbat Yisrael that you remember?
Oh, goodness. I don't know. Corn Mikael. Everybody, most of the ones that came out of Shabbat, everybody knows.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
I can't. What can I say?
Let me see.
I can't think of who were the teachers. You have to tell me a person, and I'll ask. You have to give me the name, and I'll tell you, no, they didn't come, or yes, they did.
Well, you got the, you got like the Mori Mishaels, you got the Korn Mikael, I guess you got Princey Poor, you got obviously Korn Levy was the teacher there. Who else would it be? I don't know. Who else could we say was a teacher out of Shabbat? Who else? I don't know.
I can't even.
Moret Elazar, I guess, when you went down to Georgia.
Yeah, him too.
You have.
Wasn't Seren? I think Seren Yaakov was teaching at one point.
Seren Yaakov. You got. I heard Adon Bakbaquad speak before when he came back before he passed away. He stopped by Shema. I have a couple of his teachings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they're online, and he was pretty good. I didn't. When I heard him speak, I was like, oh, he's a great orator. He
could talk.
He could talk. Yeah, he could talk. So yeah. I mean, maybe there are other ones out there that I'm missing, but those are the ones that I remember. So
when I came into the law,
right.
Murray Yosef had moved on.
Right.
And Baba Kwa was the reader.
Okay. Okay, Gaveret. So I'm going to leave it on that note.
All righty, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom to you.
And I hope everybody, I hope that everybody got something out of this,
Oh, I think people got a lot.
Is nice. But
I think that people
all
got
praise
a lot.
is due to the Most High. I'm grateful that the Most High chose me.
Hallelujah.
Because I got sisters who love God, but they don't know the Most High.
Okay, Gaveret, so I appreciate it. May the Most High God bless you, and I'll be seeing you in the near future so that we could put this on video. Okay?
All right.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Hallelujah. So there you have it. I thought that was important for us to hear from the elder. She always has a lot of good points, a lot of good history, and I think it's important to capture history. That's always been my desire, to capture history and to have things recorded. So thanking the Creator of heaven and earth. I mean, this been a pretty long interview and a pretty long conversation. So thanking the Creator of heaven and earth once again. I hope that all of you enjoyed this conversation and that you got history. Some of you reminisced. Some of you got some history when you didn't know certain things. I learned certainly some new things from sitting down and speaking with Guevara Orah, and I'll be bringing you part 2 whenever I get in front of that camera with her, and even go in depth, even into more depths of the history of Hashaba and where they ended up, how they ended up at Beni Hadad and things like that. So I'm going to get to all of that. But I think she gave us a lot tonight, and I think that it was beautiful. All praises to the creator of heaven and earth. At this time, I'm going to sign off. Don't forget to join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Beit D.C.B channel, on the Beit D.C.B channel, Beit.at CHOKMAH BINAH. That will be at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So peace and blessings to everyone. May the Most High God bless each and every one of you. Shalom, shalom.